Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do several different things. We're going to look at some of the areas of the Sun Princess that I have not covered yet, and we'll go through those, the good, the bad, the not so good, the beautiful, and the great. Then we'll also look at what's the future for this channel. What are we going to do? What are we looking at over the next year? And then finally, I want to give out my very first Cowpie Award. Stay tuned. It's going to be fun. So first, let's take an in-depth look at the Piazza, not just from an aesthetic standpoint, but some of the different things that go on there. This was a great performance that they had at the Piazza. It's a good place to watch these small performances. It's 3 stories. It's a beautiful area. The screen in the back can change. They've got a great tech booth, so they can do a lot of different things. People come down for activities. Of course, there wasn't much else going on the ship during our cruise, so there were a lot of people doing the activities in the Piazza because that was the only space. It is 3-tiered, and there are tiered seatings throughout the second and the third floor of the Piazza. So it will hold quite a few people. It has special lighting. It has special effects. It's just a really beautiful area, but I'm not sure how they're going to handle 4,000 people on the cruise ship. I know they won't all be here at the same time, but still, it's going to be a crowded area, and if you want to see something, you need to get there early. There are great bars on the first floor. This one is on the port side, served great cocktails there, and then this one is on the starboard side, and they're both right where you can still hear the music. Mostly you can see what's going on. Now this is one of the bad parts of the Piazza, and that's the stairwell. Compare that to the stairwell on the Sky Princess. I mean, this stairwell is just kind of a place to move people. So I don't know if this is an improvement over what Princess had on the royal ships, but it is beautiful. It's just different, that's all. Then let's go on and look at guest services a little bit. Guest services, at first I thought it was really great because it had this private room, but they don't have it organized well. The lines back up all the way back to the elevator. There is a special desk on the right-hand side. This is the left, but on the right-hand side there's a special desk for the elite and suite, but it's hard to get in there. And so here's what I think they need to address. The line backs up, and even though the desk for the elite and suite is there, it's awkward to cut the line to get to it. They need to have 2 lines, and each needs to be clearly marked. Hey, we've had over 110,000 views. Make sure you like the video, and please subscribe. We've only got 1,280 subscriptions. And then stay tuned, because we're going to show you the winner of our first Cowpie Award. Also wanted us to look a little bit here at Princess Live. This area is a great area. It's been totally redesigned. You can see there's a bar here. It's got more open seating than what the previous Princess Live had on the Royal class ships. In fact, it reminds me a lot of the Vista Lounge, the way it's set up, but it's not as big. So I'm not sure how they're going to have much success accommodating large crowds. This was a problem on our cruise when the arena wasn't open and the dome wasn't open for entertainment. This room filled up, and it filled up quickly. So need to make sure you get there early. Now, what's next for our channel? Well, here's some of the ideas that I have. So let's talk about what's next for the channel. When I started this, it was just basically to film the Sun Princess maiden voyage. But since then, there's been so many people interested in what the videos that I produced and so forth that I thought I would continue on with doing some different videos as well. So what's coming up? Well, right now I'm in Las Vegas, and I'm not here to gamble, but I'm here to interview my brother-in-law, who's 92 years old and was a business agent for the Teamsters Union and part of that group with Jimmy Hoffa. And he has a lot of recollections that he would like to share with me about Vegas in the early days, Vegas when the mob was running the city and so forth. So I'm going to do a series of interviews with him. I've also contacted the Mom Museum, and they have sent me some B-roll that we're going to be able to use during those interviews. And I think it'll be something that'll be very interesting to see what Vegas was like and talk to someone that lived it 50 years ago. Then when we come back from here, we're getting on a celebrity cruise. We're going to be on the Equinox for 10 days on a Southern Caribbean cruise starting April 1st. And then we'll get off that and get on the Apex for 7 days for a Western cruise. So that'll be a great opportunity to compare and contrast my recent cruises on Princess, not just the Sun Princess, but I also just got off the Regal Princess the 1st of January, as well as the Holland American Rotterdam the first part of December. So I want to make some videos that compare and contrast those three lines, talk about the good, talk about the not so good, where I think the niche is for each of them. So that should also be an interesting group of videos that we can put out. We also still have a lot of video on the Sun Princess that I'll be sharing as we go along. But then finally, the 1st of June, I head up to Ontario, Canada, Nestor Falls area for a month of fishing at Lake of the Woods. We'll also be going back up for a month in August. So there'll be a couple months there that we're going to talk about travel in Canada, recreation in Canada, fishing in Canada, some of the things like that outdoorsmen like, and people that just like to travel and be in nature and the scenery. Then when we come back, we'll be heading to Hilton Head for a week. We'll look at that area, and then we will get on Holland America ship again to go for a 10-day Southern Caribbean again, and then come back off that, and we'll get back on the Sun Princess. So I'm really interested to see what the Sun Princess is going to be like on the 14th of December. We originally had a back-to-back schedule. We were going to be sailing on the Sun Princess on the 7th of December and on the 14th of December. But after everything that Princess has not lived up to in terms of their promises and their corporate customer service, we decided to cancel that first cruise. We're going to still go on with the second one. We have those cruise credits from where they canceled our first Sun Princess cruise, so we've got to use those. But they're going to have to do something really spectacular for me to come back to Princess until there's a change in the corporate heads, until there's a change in attitude. Because right now, the Princess that I just sailed on is not the Princess that I've been sailing on for the last 22 cruises. So that's kind of a recap of what we're going to be doing. There's going to be a lot of different type of videos. If you're not interested in some of them, that's okay. Just keep me on your subscription list, and when something comes up that you like, view it, comment on it. I'd love to have comments on what we're planning on doing. I'd like to know if you think this is going to be something you would be interested in, or if you even have other suggestions of what we could film for this channel. So you're probably wondering, what is this Cowpie Award? Well, I decided to give out an award for those people that have just really taken a dump on me lately. And the first one I want to talk about is my experience with Princess Corporation. When we got back from our cruise, I filed a form with the Princess department that takes care of issues after your cruise is finished. A very nice lady called me and asked what had happened on the cruise and why I was dissatisfied. We discussed all the unfinished venues on the Sun Princess, the lack of production shows, Park 19, not having Princess Arena, and most of the time not even being able to enjoy the Dome because they were working in there. We also discussed the paltry $60 per person compensation that they provided us for a cruise that was far from what had been promised. Now, don't get me wrong, we enjoyed ourselves. You always can enjoy yourself on a cruise. But when you pay money expecting a certain product, then you expect that product, or you expect some of your money back. And that's not what happened on this cruise. This lady wanted to know what I felt was an equitable solution to the situation. and I told her that there should be additional compensation and that the $60 credit I received was insulting. She apologized that the cruise I had gotten was not what Princess had promised, but she could not offer any solution, monetary or otherwise. When asked why, she responded rather sheepishly, I might add, that the decision for what we received was made on the ship and that she nor anyone else on land could adjust it. I asked for her supervisor and was told that there was no one else to appeal to, but that she would send a message, is what she told me, to the ship, informing them of my dissatisfaction. I have not heard from anyone on Sun Princess, and I don't expect to. What Princess did to those on the maiden voyage was wrong. They know it, and so does everyone else that looks at the evidence with an objective mind. Now keep in mind, this is my opinion, but it is based on fact. The next voyage of the Sun has had a port of Santorini canceled because they didn't have a way of tendering there. We also had that port canceled. This cruise, they compensated the passengers $50 per person. My question is, how does canceling a port command $50 and having an unfinished ship with no major entertainment command only $60? I think the inequity is obvious. As to the fact that this decision came from the ship, well, I'm sure that it did. You know who was on the ship and who was having final say in these matters? John Paget, president of Princess. And so, for his lack of leadership and for his corporate greed, he gets the very first Cowpie Award for those who have dumped on me. Well deserved, Mr. Paget.